in your place. Look at you. You look fabulous.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I'm gonna wear glasses this morning because then I'll
See
be
the
able to
chat.
read the chat. Because if I take them off, it's hard to see.
I know. Tell me about it. I get it.
It- well, my eyes are a year older today, so
Aw, look at you. So what are you, 25?
oh, don't I wish? No, I want to be 21.
I get that. Well, guys, let's do this. Let's introduce Nick. Nick, first of all, tell us what medication you're on, how much you lost, how long you've been on it, and then let's go back to the beginning of your journey, and then we'll go from there, okay?
So right now I'm on Triz Zepbound. 15 weeks. I started on March 3rd. In terms of the loss, I've lost about 25, about 25.
Good
So,
for
because
you.
I just weighed in this morning, so there was no loss from the previous week, but we're still maintaining. So
I love that. So tell us what your highest weight was and what you are now.
I want to say, when I started, or just life in general.
What you started the medication.
Okay, when I started, I was 186, 187, something
Okay,
like that. Yeah, something in that range.
nice.
Maybe a little bit higher, but
Okay. So let's go back to the beginning, right? When you first started feeling any sort of way, maybe you could talk about your childhood if that had any effect or whatever, but we'll start wherever you want to start and then we'll go from there.
well, when I was a child, I was a swimmer. My mom wanted me to swim, so I can kind of, because I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the last couple of weeks about that period. As you get older, you kind of think about life in general. You think about your childhood or your years in high school. But I was thinking. I said, "Oh, you know what? I can remember when I first learned how to swim. My mom brought me to a swim club or some sort of place. And the name of the coach was Frenchie. And I didn't want to get in the water. I was afraid of the water. And I can remember when she threw me in the water and she dunked my head. And she says, "You're going to learn how to swim." And you know what? I did. And
Well, I hope you did.
I did. And I became a all county and all state swimmer, mainly in butterfly and breaststroke. So
Whew.
I got the
No,
shoulder.
no kidding. And you know what? Whenever I've swum, that's the hardest part. Like when I've done the butterfly or breaststroke, I'm thinking, man, this is something else right there. So,
Yeah.
so not to derail, but why did you choose that over the other? You just naturally were better at doing something like that?
Um, I think I mean, we're talking about like backstroke
Hmm.
versus,
Right.
yeah. So backstroke, I think I was a little bit slow on the flips.
Okay.
Because there's an if you watch the Summer Olympics, you can see how those swimmers make those turns.
Yeah.
And I believe the coach was like, "You're a little bit slow. You're hesitating when you're coming into the wall."
Sure.
And I think so they noticed that I was better at butterfly, which was really hard. It was very tough,
Yeah.
because you have to get up high, and then I don't know. I did better at that than other swimmers. So
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
keep going.
So most of my not my adult life, but my childhood, I was a swimmer. So being athletic, you, that was an issue with when it came to weight, because I was in when I got a little bit older, into kind of high school, we would train sometimes between 4 to 5 hours a day, and that was not easy, especially when you're in school and you're young and you have to get up at 4:30 in the morning
Hmm.
to go to the pool, and you have to swim, and then you need to do all that practice before for going to class,
Hmm.
and then over a period of time you get exhausted, and then in Wisconsin, I think I should probably mention that I grew up in Wisconsin. I didn't grow up in New York.
Okay, yeah.
So Vaughn knows the weather in Wisconsin is pretty
Oof.
tough. especially like Drew. He lives in Minnesota, so it's not easy when you get up at that hour and you go and
It's
you
freezing.
yeah, and
And it's
you
dark.
because the swimming at least in junior high, high school was in the winter, because in the summer they would open up the pools and then you would join that swim club.
Hmm.
So just athletic most of my childhood, and very happy with that.
Yeah. So then you get a little older, and what
Yeah.
what shifts for you?
So what shifts for me is I moved to New York.
Ah, well, there you go.
And I mean, it's not totally impossible, but when you live in New York, it's difficult to find a pool.
Hmm.
It's difficult because either the membership is going to be really expensive, or it's going to be a private pool and maybe an apartment building. It's just not going to be easy. And I guess maybe I never was lucky enough to meet somebody that had a pool.
Hmm.
But over the years, I just I didn't go swimming. I stopped going swimming, and I think that that's probably when things really began to change for me,
How
because
old were you?
I would say when I came to New York,
Hmm.
I was 19,
Oh, okay. So there
getting
you
into
go.
my mid 20s.
You
Yeah.
stop moving your
Hmm.
body.
Yeah. And then I was also very fortunate. I got a job right in school. I was in college, and I was hired by a company, and it was an office job. So it really became where it was totally different. Sitting,
Yeah.
you're
But
just
now,
sitting.
but now you're in New York City, so you're
Yeah,
walking
yeah. Well, you're walking, and I think Eamon mentioned
and you're
it,
eating pizza
there,
too.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. You. There's so much food choice here. There's so much fun here. But yeah, you do a lot of walking. But I didn't do that much walking because I had a car. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
So what did you do? Now we're talking before this medication. So you're seeing this happen. What did you do for yourself? Did you try to do certain things to help your body out, or how did that
in
go for you?
in my 20s,
Mhm.
I can remember that there was a period where I was going to the gym and I was working out. I wasn't swimming, but I was at least going frequently. But there was something that I think that I was noticing, that I probably notice more today as an adult that maybe then I didn't, is that I
Mhm.
would go to the gym, and then I would totally mess it up by eating afterwards. And it
Mhm.
wasn't like a normal type of eating. I would just go crazy. Now, sometimes when you are working out or you're being very
You need to.
athletic, you need to eat.
What was
But
your crazy? What was it?
oh my gosh, it wasn't even anything good for you. It was like ice cream and McDonald's. And no, I mean, mind you, I was in my 20s, so there was probably a little bit of a benefit of that, because obviously your metabolism is higher than when you're, my age now. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I wasn't. I was just standing in place.
So what was your mental state like? I mean, did you even have the concept of like you obviously knew, okay, well this isn't great, but did you have any other thoughts to it? Like what's wrong with me? Like why don't I have control? Like what was your thought patterns of
I
it?
don't think I put much into it at that time.
Hmm.
Maybe because I wasn't mature enough.
Hmm.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just thought, okay, let me go eat a whole pizza by myself, and I would do that.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's just normal. I'm just, I thought it was okay, but it was. I think looking back on that, no, I don't
Yeah.
think that was probably a good idea.
So did you fluctuate in your 20s like that? Did
Yeah,
you go up and
yeah,
down?
yeah. It was up and down. There was a very short period where I was feeling good, but my 20s, no, I was high. I was very high. Yeah, for at least for my height and body type, I
Yeah.
thought it was high.
Yeah.
So, and the one thing is that I had a scale in my house. never had no. I don't, and I also probably didn't even go to the doctor.
Was that just not thinking about it, or was that on purpose of some?
Not thinking about it. Yeah, didn't make a big deal of it. So I think that probably, who knows where it was, but I can remember the pant sizes changing. That I can remember.
So how did that feel?
The pant sizes changing up and down over, yeah, very annoying, because the one thing about, at least in my community, that looking good is very helpful when you're trying to put yourself out there. And so a lot of times I would say I want to go out. I want to go out and meet people, and sometimes I would be all dressed up and I'd be ready to go, and then I wouldn't go. And that was because I looked at myself and I was like, okay, I don't look good. I'm too large, or I've gained too much, and so there were really, this was before this is when I was single.
Right.
And there were tough times, because I'd be totally ready to go out, and then I would stop myself.
And you're wanting to find, somebody, or have that kind of moment where but you just didn't feel good about yourself.
Right.
So you would just stop. Yeah.
Stop. And there were even times when I would make arrangements to go on a date, and I would cancel, because I looked at myself and I was like, wow, this is not good, because maybe that person's gonna be like, oh my gosh, So yeah. And the thing about it is, I want to make sure that, because this will kind of be something I'm gonna want to touch on a little bit later in our conversation, is that I was never obese, at least by definition, of whatever those definitions are. But I was not physically fit in my mind, and maybe on a chart or on some sort of graph or something, you could argue that I wasn't even fit there. But yeah, that I think that's probably why I also had a hard time meeting people in my 20s, because I was always thinking about my weight. So
well, and it just shows you, like, there's been several people here that have been like, I don't know if I belong here. I was never morbidly obese like some people. Am I even worth it? Listen, it's all about how we feel, right? It's all about our body. It's all about, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, you don't have to be, like, well, I wasn't, considered this or that. Like, it's all relative to our size and how comfortable we are and how uncomfortable we are. And it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, and I think that's, since you're speaking about that, I wanted to touch on that. That's kind of like, that's exactly how I felt when I was beginning this process. And I there were a couple of times, and I think I touched on it the other day. I used to watch Rebecca's live and your live from what Vaughn refers to as the streets, from the hallway, because I was afraid to actually come in, because I thought, oh my gosh, these people are going to look at me and say, what's wrong with you? You're not, you're a little bit, but you're not. And they're going to be like, you don't need this. All you need to do is just go to the gym and maybe reduce what you're intaking. So I felt kind of stupid at first.
No, I mean, here's the thing. And I appreciate you saying that, because there could be people in the hallways now listening to this. And that's exactly the opposite of how we feel, right? And I think when we realize it's a disease, regardless if we have 50 pounds to lose or 500 pounds to lose, we're all in this together, right? And it's so important that we all realize that. And I think we do here, and hopefully everybody does as well. It doesn't matter if you have, like I said, just a handful of pounds to lose, because it is a disease to some, it's different for everybody. The disease itself is different in its complexity with everybody, but everybody needs support and help. And I just appreciate that you came in and talked with us, right? And I really appreciate you. I love that you've been so vocal here and expressing your story, because there's many of us in this chat that probably feel the same way you do. And if you can voice your story and be here to support people, I know that they will appreciate that. So thank you for sharing. Anything else you want to share about that specific thing?
No, I think that pretty much covered it. But it is interesting because it took me a couple of days, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I also there are times when I still question myself, like, do I really need to be doing this? Maybe what I really need to just do is just focus on. And it's interesting because I came across Matt. I don't Matt Booty. I don't know if it was through maybe you guys were following him, and then I listened to his story about his
Yeah.
journey, and I thought, wow, this guy is basically just doing it natural, and eating right, working out, and it looks great. I mean, even in the last couple of months, I've noticed he's been looking excellent.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe that's what
I'm
I
like,
need to
why
be
can't,
doing.
if he's doing it that way, should I
Right.
just do it that way?
Right, exactly. And then I thought, well, I tried that.
Mm-hmm.
I tried that many times. And I don't know if it was maybe willpower, but I would always fail. And that a lot of times I'm reminded of that because I tried it in my 20s and then I went up. And then I tried it in my 30s and I went up. And then but usually what's interesting is that the increase of inflation would always be higher than
Yeah,
before. And
absolutely.
so I thought, my gosh, what's going to happen when I get up older than 50? Is it going to then turn into pre-diabetes or diabetes? What's going to go on? And so that's when I realized something needed to change here because what I was doing for the last 30 years was not working.
Right.
It
So
just wasn't.
so let's go back to that pivotal moment in your life where you had gained and lost and tried all this stuff and inflammation was high. And so let's go back to the moment where you were like considering this medication or whatever. Like, let's talk through
Well,
that.
I was on a cruise in February, and I kind of started in December, kind of saying, "Well, I need to try this again. I need to bring it down." And so in December, I was like around 205, maybe something in that range, because again, I didn't know what I was. I didn't have a scale.
Right.
So, so I tried, and it came down a little bit. But then I went on a cruise in February of this year, and it was a disaster. A lot of people. I shouldn't say. Sometimes they go overboard with the eating because there's a lot there, right? There's a lot of choice. And I went on this cruise, and I don't know, maybe I probably went back up after trying in December, and my goodness, I said to myself, this is not going to work.
So what made it a disaster? Tell us about that.
I just overate.
Oh, okay.
I overdid it. Just having fun.
And you just knew this isn't good.
Yeah, because what I was trying was not working for 30 years. Let's go for 3 weeks to the gym and try to bring it down, and then
And did you feel it was a disaster too because you felt like you had no control? Like, why can't I just go on this cruise without stuffing my face to an extreme?
Yeah,
right. So you knew that there was a mental block here as well, right?
Right, because I was my partner. I went to the gym on the ship, and I couldn't believe that I had already eaten, and then I was thinking about it again.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Whoa, this is." Yeah, I was like, "There's something at least not in balance." But these are things that I know now because I've been watching you guys.
Mhm.
I've been listening to these lives, and maybe now it makes more sense. Then it probably, I don't know, maybe I was just like, wow, this is just weird. But
Yeah.
now it makes more sense because I've heard from others in the community, and I thought, wow. And for some people, it's more intense. It's like really intense. For others, it's a little bit lower. So it varies by person. So for me, I thought, okay, there's something not right, but maybe it'll change.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, so you get off this cruise, you're realizing something needs to happen. So let's begin there with what you do next.
So I was on the subway to Manhattan, and there was an ad on the subway, and I kind of heard a little bit about the elixir that Deb Cooperman refers to it as the elixir.
I have no idea
I
what that means. What does that
well,
mean?
like the medicine.
Oh, you've
Um,
heard of Ozempic.
yeah.
Okay.
No, I've heard of it through ads,
Sure.
just watching
Yeah.
the
Oh,
news.
oh,
And,
oh,
yeah,
Ozempic. Okay, for
yeah,
diabetes.
right.
Okay, whatever. Okay.
Right,
Go
right. So
ahead.
I've heard of the medication, but I really was under the impression that it was for people who were really obese.
Sure.
I didn't think that that was accessible or even really safe for people who probably didn't really need it that much.
Sure.
So that was the impression. Obviously, maybe that's probably not true, or it is not
Well, I
true.
think a lot of people thought that, especially at the beginning, right? Because you're
Yeah,
hearing this medication for diabetes. Okay, well, I don't have diabetes. And then you're
right,
thinking, okay, this is for someone who's got this serious disease, which we all do, but serious meaning someone who's morbidly obese. That's not me. So you just kind of move on, think, oh, I can't take this medication, right? I get
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what I did is I seen the ad, and I was like, okay, let me consider that. And then I started getting on TikTok, and I'm pretty recent to TikTok. I didn't have it for a long time. I didn't really feel like it was something that I should use. I mean, I
Sure.
just
I
again,
didn't
I don't
either.
even
I'm
I
old. I'm like, what am
right,
I going to do on TikTok?
right, and
Yeah.
especially when my nieces and nephew they're like dancing and
You're not going to do the
something.
dancing? Come on.
So I was like, oh, I don't know. So I did some looking around, but what I was finding was a lot of negative posts.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't think I want to do that.
Right.
I'm going to get sick. So it was like probably maybe like a week of that crazy.
Wrong algorithm, Nick.
Yeah. So I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's probably when I came across you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And real quick, that's so important too. Like, that's a whole other topic of being on social media and finding good sources versus all the crazy. And there's more crazy, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
glad
definitely.
you kept flipping, and then you saw us, and then what happened?
Yeah, I think it was you and Rebecca. I thought, who are these ladies? They're crazy. These crazy ladies are having fun. And I probably just started listening, and maybe you had some guests up, and I thought, okay, this is kind of cool. And then the next day, I probably seen you on live, and I was in the streets, and I
Mhm.
was just listening to you talk, and I thought, oh, this sounds kind of interesting. So I said, let me do this. Let me try it. I'll try it for a little while. If the medicine doesn't work, I can always stop, or if I get sick, I can always stop, and we can try something different. I
Mhm.
don't know what the different was, but you know, it,
So how did you then begin the process, or what did you think? Okay, what did you do to start?
so I was working with Roe. I don't know if we're allowed to mention the
Yeah,
name,
Ro,
but
that's fine. Yeah.
so I was working with them, and I had never used an insulin needle before.
Really quick
Um,
though, really quick. So how did you find Ro? Did you just like what was your
the
process?
subway, the subway.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
So you were on
yeah.
the subway, you
I was on
see
the
the
subway. I saw the ad, and I was on the subway. So it's be, and I thought, okay, this is how you get it. I never thought about actually speaking to my
yeah, you had
my
no idea. You just was like, this is a situation where they provide this, I'm going with that.
right,
Okay.
and I never thought about actually speaking with my primary doctor about it.
Okay.
I just it never crossed my mind. So I thought, oh, okay, this is how you get it. I don't believe that that's how everybody got it, but I just thought, okay, this
Yeah,
is how I can get it.
sure.
So I said, let me try it. Let me try it and see what happens. So the first time, so it was sent to me, in a box, and I'm like, well, what do I do now? I have no idea what to do with this.
Right. And you're
Nobody.
looking at the needle going, am I a drug addict? Oh no, I have to inject myself, right?
Right. The first time I could not do it. I was really uncomfortable. And the needle, mind you, is like this small. And probably in my mind, I'm thinking it's this, this
Well,
big.
yeah.
Right?
And it's not natural to inject ourselves here. Hello.
Right, right. So I actually had to have my partner help me.
That's
Um,
so common.
yeah. I think I was afraid.
Sure, sure, absolutely. I get it.
So that was really an interesting experience. Now I can remember the very first pin. Um, it was really amazing. At least for me, it was something just totally came over me
So
within a
your
couple of
first
hours.
time you injected, you're saying that you just felt
Yeah,
different.
yeah, it felt totally different.
What was the feeling that you had?
I mean, at least I can remember that I felt like a sense of like I was rejuvenated, but that I no longer was really thinking about, because I did it early in the afternoon, and I was no longer thinking about the food.
Hmm.
And I thought, wow, this is really different, especially in the second and third day. That's when I really noticed really a
That's
big
so
change.
interesting.
Yeah,
The more we're in this community, the more we hear some things like that. For the majority, not so much. But some people, yes, absolutely. And it just shows you our biology and how it can be different for everybody, right?
yeah.
So that's amazing. So you felt that right away. And so what were you thinking in your head? You're like, what in the world did I just do?
Yeah, it was really amazing. And for me, one of my biggest problems, which I probably didn't highlight on earlier in the conversation, was when I would come home from work after probably eating earlier in the day or in the evening,
Hmm.
I'd want to eat again.
Hmm.
And that I think was a big problem because we're talking about like 1, 2 in the morning, and then going to sleep.
Mm.
So that stopped.
Hmm.
And to this day has not occurred. And to me, I love that, because that, I believe, was a big problem, was my whole day.
Food noise.
And yeah,
And looking back at your story, when you would just consume so much, I think most of that was food noise for you.
yeah.
And when that stopped, it's something that you hadn't experienced probably ever in your life.
I think so, because honestly, I probably I'm gonna say it anyways, but I would hide candy in my car
Hmm.
because I didn't want my partner to know. And I would hide candy in my car because while I was working, I was always thinking, and I didn't really have the time. It's in some places in New York City, it's a little bit difficult. Usually at night it's easier, but during the day it's tricky to like pull over. It's expensive. There's parking tickets. That's just life in New York.
Yeah.
But I would hide it in my car,
Hmm.
and that's how I would control, because I was like, oh my god, I'm thinking about those M&Ms. I'm thinking about those that bag of chips, and it wasn't a small thing. It was, it was a so.
So when you would think this through, and let's just say if you thought that your partner would see that, what did you think that your partner would think about you?
That there's something wrong, seriously wrong with me.
Hmm.
I mean, you have a problem.
Hmm.
You need to fix it. I believe that would have been the conversation.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So I couldn't believe I was doing that, and actually talking about it on this live, in that, yeah, it's a lot of people may be surprised to hear that,
Well, I think a lot
because
of
they didn't
people
know
think
that
that
about me. Nobody knew about that. I'm actually telling the world right now for the first time. That's what I would do. I would hide it in my car because I couldn't have it at home. And the thing about it is that how we live, we don't have that kind of stuff in our place. We
right.
don't have any sort of sweets. or salty things like that, chips, and it's just not how we live. But I would hide it in the car,
Yeah.
because I was like, I'm gonna have it.
It's like you had no control. It's
Yeah.
like you had an addiction to this and you needed it.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being vulnerable here. And I know most people in this chat can relate. Bethany is saying that. Luciana is saying that. So thank you for expressing that. I know that's probably helpful for you
Yeah.
to just at least
Definitely.
get it out
Yeah.
and share that. So thank you for doing that. I'm not, listen, I've done the same thing. I've done the exact same thing. Not necessarily maybe sweets per se, but drive through,
Yeah.
making sure I take the bag and throw it away before I get home or whatever, or making sure the
Oh,
smell in my car is not there because that can linger. Doing this in silence, doing this away from people because I felt bad about it. I felt like I had a problem and I felt addicted to it and I didn't have control over it. And it was
yeah. I
horrible.
was doing that too because I had a client that I had to pick up at 2:30 in the morning. It was originally like 12:30, and then
Mhm.
they moved it like 2:30 in the morning. And there were times when I was I because the traffic is so bad going up to Connecticut on 95. People in the Northeast, they may be familiar with that. That I would have to leave early, and so there was a gap in time. Sometimes I would have like 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours to sit down. What do you do when you're sitting in the dark in the middle of the night? You're gonna
Right.
find, you're gonna watch TV, and then you're gonna start. Yeah, I would do the drive through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was also not helping because it's the middle of the night when you're supposed to be sleeping, and you're
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. So now you're getting treatment.
yeah.
Now you see that this food noise, now we know we call it this, is gone away and your mind is freed. What are you thinking now? What are your next steps?
Well, my focus today is not necessarily loss in weight,
Mhm.
but building my body composition. I'm trying to get stronger.
Mhm.
That the one thing that I've learned from this time is that I never really focused that much on weights. I focused mostly on cardio, and maybe because I was a swimmer, and when you're young, they don't focus that much on the weights. They
Mhm.
focus on just swimming. You just keep
Mhm.
swimming, and you get stronger that way. So I think that mindset was kind of there for a long time, that all I needed to really do was get on the Stairmaster, get on the treadmill, and lose that way. But that's not really, I mean, that's a good way to do it, but you also have to bring in weights. And
Mhm.
I think that that's probably something that I've learned. I've learned that from watching some other creators on here, that, yeah, you have to do both.
Right.
So right now I'm focusing on weights, a little bit less cardio, but mostly on weights because I'd like to bring up my muscle, my tone. I'm not looking to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I
No.
don't think I ever will be. Plus, I'm also 51,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm a little bit. But anything's possible. I mean, somebody could probably argue with me on that, and they could probably say, "Sure, you could do it," but I don't want to do it. For
You
me,
just
I
want to
would
be
be
happy and healthy and
right.
fit for your mobility and longevity of life.
Yes, that's my goal right now, and
Yeah.
the thing is that it's because of the medication that I am not doing those bad habits. I'm not hiding the candy
Mhm.
and the chips in the car. I'm eating at 5 and 6 o'clock. Now there's an area that I probably need to work on, and I think that some of us out there probably need to work on it too. And we probably know what it is, AJ. What is it? Sleep. We need to sleep more. That's definitely probably
You know,
something that could improve.
that is one of the biggest things that we need to do for our health and longevity, right? Because we know that's where we produce our muscle, make our muscle, our hormones are regulated, our leptin and our ghrelin. It affects our mood, our energy, our brain health. So important. A lot of times when people aren't moving in their weight, if they focus on their sleep for a couple months, they see a huge shift.
Yeah,
Huge.
and Jamie touched on that. It was interesting. I was listening to Jamie Selzer yesterday about that. That I think there was where he was mentioning that people that he was working with were not seeing a change, but when they were focused on their sleep, there was a change. So that's probably an area that probably I could work on, but it's a little bit tricky with my schedule because what I'm trying to do right now is fit in the gym um, and working,
Yeah.
and that's a little tricky. That's a little tricky right now.
Well, baby steps. Baby
Yeah,
steps.
yeah.
So again, we talked about this at the beginning. You're now working on your body composition, and that's awesome. You've lost how much again in this?
So I want to let's just say 25.
Perfect.
Um, which in right now so today I weighed in at 165.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say I'd be happy around maybe 155. But stronger,
Yeah.
toner,
There you go.
leaner is the goal.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it go down, and I think it will, but it doesn't have to be tomorrow.
Right.
If it takes me another 6 months, okay. I'm only 15 weeks in.
Yeah.
So
You've done so well, Nick.
yeah. So
And I love your perspective here. And I think it's needed.
appreciate that.
Yeah. I think it's needed. What were you going to say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying that I probably forgot my thought, but yeah, I would be very satisfied if we got to that. But it's not. I mean, there are days. Okay, I only weigh myself once a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't weigh myself daily. I know that some people probably do,
What's comfortable for you?
right. I'm okay with once a week, and I will be honest with you. There are times when I'm a little bit frustrated because I have to say that some of the stories on here are amazing. When you hear the numbers, and a lot of times I have to take that out of my thought because I don't want to compare myself to somebody that started at a much higher number, and they come in with saying, "Oh, it's I'm 50 down, I'm 35 down," because I probably will never have that because I didn't start out that high. And plus from what I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, the last 10, 15 are very difficult.
It can be when we get closer. And that's something that mentally, you can't be like, I lost 200 pounds, right? But it still affects you, even though that's not how this works.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you saying that because it's important not to compare ourselves with other people
Yeah.
and not to feel like we're not successful or doing the most or winning or whatever because we haven't had these grandiose losses because it's all relative. You are where you are. You started at 205 or whatever, and now you're I think you said 60 something, right?
165.
And so it's all relative. And so for you have lost the grandiose amount for your body and for your health. And so that's a win, right? And I get that it can be hard because you're trying to, you compare and you're like, am I considered success as well? Absolutely, you are.
Yeah, and there are days when I mean I'm very honest about it to myself, and I obviously I don't tell you in the chat or whatever, but yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't lose a lot. I probably, and I feel maybe I feel a little bit out of place. Especially when I hear some of the stories, when you hear stories like Drew's story or Jamie's story, and others that, I can never be that successful because their success is quite amazing. But yeah, you don't want to compare yourself because it's a totally different story. It's a totally different set of circumstances. So yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Moshe's saying 1% of 400 is 4.1% of 200 is two. You know what I mean? It's all relative.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I've learned that from listening to you guys that don't focus on that number. Focus on your success. Focus on believing in yourself, and especially when you're starting out. I had to do that because I thought, oh my gosh, I don't really have that much to lose, but let's
Again, and this just shows how us humans think, right? And how we can be our own worst detriment because everybody in
yeah.
the chat right now is saying that you belong, you're amazing, you've done what your body needed to do, you're getting healthy, and it's all relative. And it's the
Yeah,
hardest thing that we do. We compare ourselves, but it's not helpful, is it?
because I'm going to disagree with Rebecca on one thing. There's one thing I do not want to have is a dad bod. I don't want a dad bod.
That's okay.
I want to have a nice fit body.
That's right. And
Yeah,
you do.
yeah,
You've come a long way. You're doing really, really good.
yeah. So there is something interesting that has occurred. There I during the last 2 months I've had some blood work done, and my liver enzymes have been elevated,
Okay.
which is unusual because I've done blood work over the last, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, and this is the first time that it's come to be an issue. So my AST, I think it's my AST, is very high, and has been going up. So for about a week, 7 days, probably starting today, I will not be able to do any weightlifting because I've been reading and also consulting with my doctor as well as a fitness coach, that the muscles also create AST. I hope I have the acronym correct. But my AST has to come down because it's an indication of something, a problem with the liver.
Okay.
So very important out there. Check your blood. Check your blood. Always be checking your blood because you need to know what's going on. If you need to make some adjustments or if something's popped up that you weren't aware of, it's very important to get your blood work done because I was really surprised. I was like, why is that number? Because it's all the other numbers are normal now. Everything is green basically. Yeah. And then you have this one number that has been going up. So I'm hoping that it has to do with the fact that I've been doing a lot of weightlifting.
Yeah, well, keep us posted on that. Unfortunately, I don't know much about that.
Yeah.
But the point is valid of make sure, guys, and do it as a preventative, not as, oh God, something's now wrong. I need blood work. Do it a few times a year, guys. Get your blood work done. See what's happening inside, right? Get it adjusted, just like Nick says. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. So because you may need to dial some things down or up, and you may need to add something that may be helpful in this journey, because that's one thing that we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out if it has to do with the working out or if there's something that I've been taking that could be causing that. So we'll see. Yeah, it looks like I figured Drew would know what the AST is.
Yeah, it indicates stress and tissue damage, usually into skeletal muscle. So yeah. We'll see. And too, the supplements too, you never know like what's helping, what's hindering. That's why it's important to talk with your doctor about your supplementation, know exactly what you need versus just feeling like you need something because someone is talking about it.
Yes, Alice, I do take creatine. That's something that I just started recently, within the last, when I started this journey, because the one thing that I didn't go crazy, but there were a few things that I was like, oh, I need to get this, I need to get that, and I was like, whoa, let's slow down here a little bit. We don't need to buy the whole TT shop. So I did start the creatine. So
and I'm sure you're telling your doctor all the things that you're taking as well.
Yeah. Actually, he was surprised at first. He's like, oh, really? Because he's a young doctor, and he's like, oh, you want to take weight loss medication. I was like, well, I was already on it when I mentioned it to him. So
gotcha. So, Nick, what has been the most unexpected blessing, if you will, out of this whole entire journey for you?
Honestly, it may sound strange, but I don't bite my nails anymore. And I mean, that could be also an NSV,
Mhm.
but I think that was, I didn't really think about that as being something that was going to change because this is something I probably have done since I was a child.
Yeah.
Um,
And it was
I,
an obsessive thing that is now taken down because of that dual agonist, reward response in your hypothalamus. Isn't that interesting?
and I don't know if it was because I was hungry.
Hmm.
If there's some sort of connection to hunger and maybe but I noticed that when I got into the professional driving business that I would chew them more if I was stuck in traffic. And the one thing is that I also thought, especially I don't know, maybe kind of near the time that I was going to start to take, is the customer noticing what I'm doing
Yeah.
and probably like, oh my gosh, what is this guy doing? So it's a true unexpected thing that I did not realize that it was going to change. And now I use Zach's Pro Care. I
Yeah.
think it's Pro Care
Yeah.
Health.
Prayer care health. Yeah.
Yeah. So and boy, they're looking good.
Good.
And I may even get a manicure eventually.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe in a couple weeks or something like that. So,
I love
um,
that.
to me, this is a big deal to
Yeah.
finally have nails.
I
I mean,
love that.
I don't have Rebecca nails, but
Well, you might someday.
yeah, right.
So, what is one thing that you're excited to do that maybe you didn't feel was possible before? Anything that you can think of?
Yeah, I'd like to do a marathon at some point. Yeah, I'm not gonna run ING New York Marathon or but like some sort of marathon. I've been thinking about it the last couple of weeks because I've heard people speak about it, and I thought I think I need to try a marathon. I don't know if it will be a big one, but I think that's something I would like to do at least before I get maybe too old
Nice.
is a marathon.
I
That's my
love
goal.
that.
And so I have to learn a little bit about the process of getting ready for it. And
Yeah.
my niece has done the Boston
Oh man.
marathon, and she also did IMG, so she's a runner. So
Yeah.
probably we'll have to consult with her and but yeah, someday maybe a small one, maybe 5K. I'm not gonna be running 20 miles.
I love
So,
that. So, what's something that you've learned about yourself through this? Like for your personal experience, what's something that you learned through this whole process?
that's a great question. Um, I probably can say that that's a great question. What have I learned about myself? That I'm able to feel comfortable in the gym doing
Mm,
weights because the one fear that I did have, and that's probably also why I stayed with cardio,
hmm.
was because it's always in the back and it's kind of in the corner. I feel a lot of times. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, that's cute. I like that. Um, is the is feeling okay, working out, doing the weights with other people that are much younger than me and much stronger and fit. Because
Mm,
that was probably a lot of times why I didn't really want to use the machine. Because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go over there. I'm only going to be able to lift 30 pounds. And there's going to be this guy over there that's got these huge muscles and he's lifting 150 pounds. Um, yeah,
yeah.
I think I'm finally now I can go and now the one thing I won't do at the gym because I have a gym in our building
Hmm.
is the Smith machine. I will
Mm,
not do the RDLs and in the Planet Fitness. I don't want I won't do that.
gotcha. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. So no, I think the being comfortable with working out.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, in your experience and your expertise, what would be something that you wish more people would understand about either this adventure on this GLP-1 medication or the medication itself?
That it's not just for people who are obese. It can be for a guy that or a gal, but just speaking to another man, that it can be for a person who has a dad bod that maybe want to lose something like 50 and get more toned. That it's not just for people that are 200 overweight or whatever number. It's available for everybody, because it's not only correcting the weight, but it can correct other things that you may be struggling with, whether it's diabetes, whether it's heart condition, whatever. There's a whole thing that we're discovering that it's benefiting for a lot of other issues. So I think it's important to understand that it's not just for obese people, because that's one thing that I was a little bit concerned about. I understand that there is an obesity disease, but sometimes if we keep saying that, then maybe some people will feel, oh, I'm not that in that category, so maybe I better not take it.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. You know, this disease of obesity is very complex and very nuanced. And in reality, it's more of a metabolic disease.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think you'll stop hearing this disease of obesity necessarily, but as
Yeah.
we inform people more and they understand it more, it's more of a metabolic situation, right? That it's very complex and you don't have to be hundreds and hundreds of pounds, you know, to have this be just for you, right? So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, and I think that that's probably where I was in having a metabolic issue for a long time, because that was probably why I would go to the gym for a couple of weeks and then fail, because it was too strong. The urge to constantly want to consume was too strong for me. And a lot, and that's why it would be like, oh, a couple of weeks and we're down, and then that was it. It would end. So
So one last question. What is the biggest gift that this experience has given you?
the biggest gift would be meeting all of you guys in the TikTok space, because without you, and Rebecca and Drew and everybody, Heather, the whole list, is that I don't think that I would be able to have gotten this far. I don't think so, because there's so much information that each one of you speak about each day that I pick up, that I can use, that makes it helpful in my process, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's interesting. I need to try that. Because and there's no doubt that if I didn't find this space, I don't think I may have been as successful. I don't know. We don't know. Let's not look back at that. Let's look at it from going forward. So that's probably been the biggest gift. Also, I going live, forget about it. I never even thought I would do something like this, because I was so shy of camera. Unfortunately, there are very few pictures of me in my 20s and 30s, because I wouldn't allow people to take photograph of me. I'm serious. I'd be like, no photograph. And I wouldn't take photographs of myself. So to be going live is a big, big deal for me. This is huge.
It's helped you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. Yeah. Like, I'm not so afraid of the camera. I'm like, oh yeah, let's take photographs.
Yeah.
But or a lot of times I want to go live with you guys, but I'm working. So most of the time I'm just listening.
Yeah.
And I'm turning down the volume because in New York City we're not allowed to use Bluetooth.
Right.
Drivers are not allowed to use Bluetooth. Private cars are, but when you're a driver, you can't have anything in your ear. It's illegal.
Right.
So a lot of times I'm turning the volume down and up. Now, sometimes I'm probably glad I do that because if the customer heard what you guys were speaking about, they'd be like, what is this guy listening to?
Right. I love that. Well, thank you, Nick, for saying that. And you were a gift to us as well.
Well, thank you. That's so kind. That really means a lot. Because I thought, I'm serious. I really thought that who am I to be in this group? Excuse me. Because I really was not sure if I would fit in. Especially because I really don't come from a place of as much struggle.
But it's all relative, Nick. So
Yeah.
I would stop saying that.
Yeah. Well, I realize that now. Yeah. And
Well,
I
I mean, and
appreciate
your
that.
thoughts are valid. I'm not trying to say that they're not, but
Yeah.
as we
Yeah.
know, it's all relative, and you belong here. You can sit at our table.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
that.
And what you give to this community is needed. And I know that since you've been on here, there are people that feel like you, that think like you, that get you, that are now inspired and encouraged by your words. So
Yeah. And I hope there are more people that are willing to give it a try, even if they feel like they don't have much to change. Because you'd be surprised. You'd be totally surprised with just a small thing how big it could be for you. So
Right.
yeah.
And Jeff makes a great point to end on. You don't need to struggle enough to earn your health.
I love it.
And I feel
Absolutely.
like that is a lot of people that think that, right? If they haven't struggled enough, if they haven't been through as much or whatever, someone else that they can't earn their place here is in the community. And that's just
Yeah.
not the case.
Yeah, I actually did think that for a while. I was like, oh boy, I haven't earned that, and yeah, and I don't think that's something you want to earn. I mean, I don't think that you need to earn something like that.
No.
So
I don't wish it on my worst enemy.
Yeah, right. And you've been an inspiration for me and for a lot of people because of what you've done, and that's why I come every day because it's very, very helpful, very, very helpful. So I appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Is there anything that we hadn't talked about that you would like to share really quickly before we leave?
I don't think so. I think we covered it. I don't know if anybody had any question that I didn't answer.
Yeah.
But
well, thank you. I appreciate
thank you for
it.
having me up. I mean, Jamie's a tough act to follow. I mean, I don't know. So hopefully it was okay.
Nick. You mean him coming up on my live yesterday? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you've done well, Nick. I think you surpassed it. I love it, guys. And thank you for being here. I do love at the end of my lives when it gets quiet to have people up here. So if anybody's in the chat that ever wants to share their story and connect like this, please let me know in the chat. We can schedule something for sure.
And thank you everybody for the gifts. So kind, every one of you. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody joining.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nick, so much. I will let you down in the chat. Okay.
Okay. No problem.
All right. Well, that was fun. I'm going to put that on YouTube. Just so you guys know, those that say yes to me, when we interview them, I put them on my YouTube